Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
This week's episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast is brought to you by Google AdWords for the modern auto detail business. Now, if you're a loyal listener of the show, you've been hearing the ad run a lot for Google Ads, the Google Ads course. And that's because it is so effective. It is crucial for your business. And in fact, that is exactly what one of the students of the course has said, that this is absolutely crucial. He even compared it to getting just training in general for your detailing business. He operates in the Australia area, or the country of Australia, and he said he's usually dead during the wintertime. And because of this Google Ads training, he's getting 3 to 6 new clients every single week. And in fact, just with 3 calls, he made over $600 in a couple days. Another student of the course spent $40 and made over $1,000 with the help of this course. And so I really wanted to bring in these testimonials to show no matter what your budget was, you can effectively use these Google ad techniques that I teach you in the Google AdWords course at autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. That's autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. If you're looking to take your business to the next level and to smash your competition, you got to head over to autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. On to the show. All right, welcome to episode 236 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Today on the show, we have Deborah Gorgus, editor at large. I guess you could add on to that, editor at large. I don't know what that even means, but Auto Detailing News, a quarterly magazine, right? It's quarterly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Every season.
Perfect. So, and how I've found out about this magazine is I got it just delivered one day, and what I don't think I've even told you this, Deborah, but I was like pleasantly surprised at how good the content was in it, because it was applicable to actual car detailing. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I usually forget to welcome people to the show. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And let's give our listeners kind of a little bit of background on you, maybe where you're at, how you got to be the editor of Auto Detailing News, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, well, let's see. I was editor of a monthly magazine called Professional Car Washing and Detailing, and then I took a year off when I was pregnant with my daughter, who you might hear in the background in 5 seconds.
More than welcomed.
Okay. And then I got so Kate Carr, I used to work for Kate Carr as her managing editor, and she now is editor of Self-Serve Car Wash News, which is a very successful magazine. And when the publisher of that, Jackson, was looking for an editor for one on detailing, she recommended me, and it kind of went from there. And that phone call, he called me in September 2015, and we put out our first issue in January of 2016.
So you were, before Car Wash and Detailing magazine, had you been writing for other magazines, or did you major in that, or how did that?
Yes, I did. I majored in journalism and graduated in 1998, and I'll be the big 4-0 in a month. And
happy early birthday!
Thank you. I'm fine with it. I really am. So okay, when I graduated, I got a job as an editor for a monthly community newspaper. Eventually got into the book publishing industry, and then found my way into the trade publication industry and started working for Water Technology magazine. And then Kate Carr recruited me. We worked in the same office, and she asked me to jump ship and join her. And I loved the car washing and detailing industry. I thought it was fun, and the people were real, and they liked to learn and talk about what they did, and it was a great place to work. And then I really liked detailers. They were some of the friendliest people, and I missed it. And then Jackson reintroduced me and gave me this wonderful opportunity, and everyone has been amazing.
That's awesome.
And wanting to contribute, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
And I remember signing up and getting the Car Wash and Detailing magazine, mainly because I was interested in the detailing, and it was good magazine, but it is geared, because I still get it, but it's geared a little bit heavy on the car wash side.
Right.
So when I saw, like, I was honestly a little skeptical when I saw the magazine, Auto Detailing News, because I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be like car wash and detailing, whatever.
Right.
And then I was like, wow, this is like spot on, industry specific, guys that are like, this is legit. You know, this is awesome. So
Yeah,
I was really stoked that there was a magazine on it.
The first thing I did, I think my first week on the job after I was hired, is I called 3 people. I called Prentice St. Clair, Rennie Doyle, and Bud Abraham, and asked them for advice, because I had known them from the magazine PC&D. Okay. And I called them and I said, what should this be? What do detailers want? What don't they want? And they gave me wonderful advice and said, these people don't like fluff. Yeah. They want to know what they can do and be better at it. They are proud of their work, so they like to show it off, but in a nice way. Right. And photos are good, and business sense articles too. And I took their advice very seriously. And then Jackson sent me to Mobile Tech Expo, and I jumped right in and went to seminars. And
that's awesome. What were a couple like standout things in the beginning? Oh, I lost you, and you came back. Welcome back. Just
this photo. I see.
Welcome back.
Yes, good to be back.
So we missed that last 10 seconds of you talking, but do you want to reiterate what you just said that we didn't hear?
I said I think that Jackson sent me to the Mobile Tech Expo.
There you go. Okay. Yep.
And then I learned so much there. I went to the seminars and got up early and went to the early morning ones and watched demonstrations and went booth to booth to meet people and find out what is it detailers need to know. And who was Rob, the Adirondack Mountains? Are we blocking a signal?
Yep. It was blocked a little bit, but now you're back. You left off at Rob, and then...
Yes. Okay. Rob, the president of the IDA,
yep.
Took me around and introduced me to people, and Keith Duplessis, they were wonderful, the whole IDA.
Yeah.
It's great. And we're not necessarily associated with them, but we're friendly and friends, and
definitely.
We don't cater to advertisers either. We do the magazine for our readers, and
I love it. Like I said, it was spot on. The information was great, and yes, pictures are good. It's like when I flip through something and I'm like, oh, no pictures, forget it, because we're just not that smart. So
visual craft.
Yes,
are doing.
That's true.
And smell and.
That is true. Smells, yes. Product smells are important.
Yes. Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about some hacks, because what would it be if we didn't give out some great content? So, and we'll talk about how guys can get the magazine, because it is a free magazine. If you just got to sign up to get it, right?
Yes.
So, we'll talk about that kind of at the end of the show, and I'll have it linked up in the show notes as well. But if we haven't blocked the signal again, we're going to get into some hacks. Hello, are you there?
Oh, hi.
There we go. Welcome back.
It's me. I can go. Do you want me to sit outside?
If you could, that's fine. I mean, whatever. We'll roll with it.
It doesn't seem. It says my signal is strong, but I don't know. I don't know.
You know, it's one of those things that it sounds good until you start recording, and then it somehow knows that you're recording something, and so it decides to drop the signal.
Yeah. Do you want me to wear a hat made of aluminum foil?
Sure. So I don't know how much of that you picked up that I actually said, or none of it.
Yes, you said let's get into the hack.
Yeah,
yep,
let's get into the hack. So, did you have questions, or do you have questions for me? Is that what it was?
Just that. What are some of your top
I
pieces of advice for time-saving tips? Is hacks the right word? I know you all are serious professionals, so I don't know if
we're all serious hacks. Well,
okay.
Well, that term gets thrown around pretty loosely. Loosely in a good connotation and a bad connotation, or a bad connotation used in a laughable manner, I guess. Like, oh, you're such a hack. So maybe I like the word hack. So maybe not a hack, but like a detailing hack. Like they have life hacks, you know? So maybe efficiency tips would be like the politically correct way to go about it. Which is something I'm not, is politically correct. But yeah, efficiency tips. And you know what? And maybe we can kind of banter back and forth on this. Because one thing, I'm like huge on being efficient. So, but one thing that I didn't realize that would happen is you start becoming really efficient and getting stuff done really quickly. And I guess this doesn't pertain to guys that have like a fixed location shop as much, but for mobile detailers is that, so I've really looked for like time-saving tips or efficiency places where I could, you know, essentially create margin in my services. Because as we've talked on the show a lot, there's two ways to make more money, and that's to raise your price or become more efficient and make more per hour, right? So, because raising your prices, sometimes you can price yourself out of the market. So, anyway, but one thing that I've been running into lately and had a kind of a blowout with a customer yesterday is he thought because I was going faster than he thought it should take, that I wasn't doing something right.
Oh, okay.
And so that's kind of a hurdle that I'm not sure. It takes kind of finessing to like smooth over the customer, and then sometimes it's just the customer doesn't understand. But anyway, that's kind of a side note.
Well, what happened? But you didn't show him that you were frustrated with him, or did...
Well, so here's what happened was, and if the story gets too long and annoying, just honestly cut me off. It was an RV, a 37-foot RV, and the customer had originally told me that he had run an errand in the morning, but he would be back about a half an hour after I got started. And that's fairly common. I mean, you know, I told him, hey, it's going to take the majority of the day, no big deal. So come to find out, he wasn't going to show up at all, but yet his wife was going to be there. So I said, okay. So I had been there about 2 hours, and I was going to do a wash and a wax, and with a machine applied wax, because though I wouldn't recommend other guys to do that in an RV if they want to be efficient and profitable, I would recommend, this could be one of the hacks of like a rinseless wash with a sealant, with a spray sealant, and because you could get it done super fast. I mean, even cars you could do super fast. Right. And so that's how I do it. So I could have had that whole RV washed and sealed, you know, or waxed to the customer, because you start saying sealant to a customer and they don't understand. But I could have had that whole thing wrapped up in an hour and a half. So, but he wanted a machine applied wax, and so I was going to do that for him. So 2 hours into the job, I'm getting ready to bust out my buffer and apply this wax dreadedly, right? But whatever. That's what he was paying for. That's what I was going to give him. And he got on the phone with his wife and thought that I shouldn't even have the RV washed by then.
Okay.
So then I'm on the phone with him, explaining to him, hey, not my methods and products, but basically, look, I'm just efficient. Like, this is what I do, right? This is what I spend my time doing. I'm constantly researching new products and how to become uber efficient,
Right.
And he wasn't buying it. He's like, no, you're doing something wrong.
That might mean you're not. Yeah, that's okay.
And so and he was very passive aggressive with me and like already mad. So I tried to take control of the situation and like be very calm and ask him, hey, so are you a detailer?
Oh.
And he was like, no. And I'm like, well, do you stay up to date on all the latest, processes and techniques and products? No. I'm like, well, then how can you make a judgment call on how long it's taking me? And he's like, well, I just think that it's taking too long. So right then and there, I was like, okay, we have a issue because what you think and what is reality is two different things, and I'm never going to change your mind.
Right. It's a losing battle. Yeah.
It's a losing battle. And so after we went round in circles a few times, I basically told him, look, I'm going to walk from the job and you could just pay me for the wash, and I'm going to walk because I could tell you exactly what I'm using. I could show you, but you're not here.
Yeah.
And you're not going to come. So like we can do this dance all day long, or I could just walk. So I ended up getting paid for just a wash and whatever. But
yeah,
it sucked because I was giving him a superior product, and I tried to explain that to him of like, dude, because he's like, I just want a quality job, and I'm like, I'm giving that to you.
Right.
He's like, no, you're not. You're too quick. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
If
Go
it's
ahead.
something where it says this has to, I can't think of a trade right now, but this has to sit for 2 hours in order for it to work, then maybe he could have a complaint there. But the fact that it's the end product, and if it looks great, that wasn't the case. So, yeah. You wouldn't win that, so it's not worth the...
Yeah. And that's a whole nother topic that I can go into later. But that gets into the first hack, or one that we could talk about, would be to do a either waterless or a rinseless wash, either on cars or an RV. And guys kind of get hung up on like, what? You're going to do a rinseless wash on an RV? Like, it seems like so much real estate, but it's actually way quicker to do a waterless or a rinseless wash on an RV.
Now, this is for mobile detailers?
Mobile or shop. So
okay.
where this could be really good for, and if you're in a part of the country or the world that you deal with snow and mud and stuff like that, you may have to do like a pre-rinse, but you could still, after your pre-rinse, you could still do a waterless or a rinseless car wash or, wash. Where it would really benefit guys who have a shop versus a mobile detailer is if this guy would have dropped his RV off at, say I had a shop, and he dropped it off there, I could say, hey, drop it off in the morning, come back and get it in the evening. He would have no idea how long it took me.
Right.
So he would have thought I spent all day on it. And that would have been better for me. He probably would have been, stoked with the outcome and never knew that it only took me an hour and a half.
Right.
So that's where having a shop could really benefit. But that's that.
Yeah, and he'll just move on to the next detailer and give him the same.
And probably. And I'm okay with that because I know that I was giving him a superior product.
Yep.
So the next hack from there would be a wash and a wax, and do a rinseless wash with a spray. And I use the term wax, even though I would suggest using a spray sealant.
Right.
Wax is just a synonymous term that customers understand.
Yeah.
So that's why I say wax. But a rinseless wash with a spray sealant, you can honestly get a car done, washed and waxed, half hour, maybe. Instead of like the alternative, I see a lot of these guys, especially going back to RVs, they want to like snow foam the whole RV and then pressure wash it. And I'm like, man, that is just so time consuming.
Yeah.
Which might have been better in my case yesterday, but it gets into the results versus process. And that's what I tried explaining to the guy. Are you paying me for the process or the results?
Right.
Because if you're paying me for the process, you should have let me know that you wanted me here all day, and then I would have priced accordingly. But you didn't say that. You wanted a good job. Anyway.
Yep.
So that would be the second hack, to do a rinseless wash with the spray sealant.
Okay.
I guess a third hack from that same kind of family would be if you wanted to do a wash clay wax. You could just do the waterless or the rinseless. Sorry, the rinseless or a waterless. You could, but it works better with rinseless. You could do a rinseless wash, and then before you go to spray the sealant on, you could do a clay bar or a clay towel. In fact, I use clay towels or clay mitts because it's like lightning fast. And so what I've talked about on the show before, and what I highly suggest guys do, especially if they're dealing with like price shoppers in their area, and after you clay, obviously you do a spray of sealant, or a wax or whatever. But what I recommend guys, whether they're mobile or have a shop, is to run a $99 wash clay wax special. And everyone freaks out because they're like, oh my gosh, $99. Like, I don't want to be the, here comes the term, hack of the neighborhood. The
$3 wash.
The $3 wash guy, right? I don't want to be the $99 full detail guy. And it's like, well, listen, it's not a $99 full detail. It's $99 wash clay wax. But you could use that rinseless with the clay mitt and a spray sealant. And you're right about an hour with one guy to do a whole car.
Does this okay, back in the day when I was at Water Technology magazine, water was an issue and drought, and I know it still is, but does that still have is that still something where you can say we're water or environmental by using waterless?
So that's up for debate. Do some people like that? Sure. So I'm in Southern California where, the drought thing was really important. But the reason why, because I started with a big water tank, pressure washer. I did the whole traditional wash on every single car that I touched. But what started happening with me was not only could I become more efficient by not doing that, but I could keep the local city government off my back because I didn't have runoff.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of why I went that route, was to keep, fines from coming.
Yep.
And having to not be paranoid about it. But then I have clients that are like, I don't want you to do a rinseless wash. I want you to do a traditional wash. I don't care what happens. I'll pay the fine. I'll do whatever.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, so then that's where I go to, well, I don't want to come out with that I'm eco-friendly because customers have a hard time wrapping their brain around that.
Right.
So I don't want anything to be a barrier between someone using me or not using me based on me being eco-friendly or not. And I guess you could spin that coin both ways, right? So I may be missing out on work because people don't know that I'm environmentally friendly.
Right. Well, it's case by case. Each customer, you have to give them your...
Exactly.
You could adjust per customer, though, but that's okay, I guess.
Yeah, you could. One thing I wouldn't do, and in fact, the guy that I had on the show previous, DJ Patterson, he's in... I know him well, and now I blank on where he's from. Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma. He had a good story about when he first started his business. He was really promoting that he was eco-friendly, and it kind of backfired on him.
Oh, because people thought you couldn't get it clean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
They couldn't wrap their mind around it. So then he kind of backed off that, and he pivoted. And he's still Eco Green is his company name. So he's still pretty heavily branded as eco-friendly, and I can't remember exactly what he changed, but he stopped promoting that as like the main focus was the gist of it, and it really helped him.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense. I'm trying to go into the mindset of just a customer, and I'm trying to think of what I would even think. And part of me would probably think the same thing, and I hate to say that. No,
but that's where what I love about your position is, like, I love talking to people that you can take on the role of a consumer, whereas I know too much.
Right.
So it's hard for me to like think like a consumer, but that's why I love where you're at, because you can play in whatever arena you want to.
Right. I'm in between worlds.
Right. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. Someday I would like to detail a car, or actually do a hands-on for a day so I can say
That'd be a great segment for the magazine.
I could do that, yeah.
You could do that. You could definitely. That would be cool.
Who would be that poor customer that sees...
You could get a rental car.
Okay. Or we could do my own.
Or your own. Do you have a minivan?
Yes, I know. I know it's awful. Oh, gosh. No, it's terrible. It is. Yeah, it's the worst. And I kept hearing that at Mobile Tech Expo. We hate minivans. Minivan.
You know what, though? Everyone says they hate minivans. That's a little bit of an ego play because I'm like, well, if you charge accordingly, you won't hate minivans.
That's true. Yes, that is very true. And it is, with 2 children, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I cannot believe what happens in there on a daily basis. It's just
so my wife doesn't have a minivan, but her car gets just as thrashed. And so one time I do like a monthly sweep where I'll clean everything out.
Yeah.
And just throw it in a lawn leaf bag and throw it in the back. And but I took a picture of it one time. Like I cleaned out all the kids' toys and stuff and just left like the trash and took a picture. And then she was she doesn't listen most times, so she won't care about this. But she was going through my pictures later in the day that night and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this car's disgusting. This is so embarrassing. Whose car is this?" And I about died because I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "That's your car." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, delete that picture."
Why is it always goldfish crackers? I don't get it. I don't understand. We won't even eat them and they end up in our car.
And Cheerios. And I just transport a car seat from my wife's car to my car and my car's already thrashed.
It's what I don't the magnet. It's a car seat is a magnet for.
It's insane.
Dude, I don't know why that happens. But, so she's
either.
not alone.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
Okay. Although I don't get the courtesy of the trash bag. I think my stuff is just thrown in the trash.
So I'll move it to the trash bag and then see how long the trash bag sits in the back. And then it's like, okay, if I'm on my 2nd or 3rd time filling up a trash bag, like let's revisit this first initial trash bag.
You should date them like you do with a Ziploc bag for frozen food.
That'd be a great idea.
I don't know how that would help her, but...
It wouldn't, but it would help me, and then I could just toss it, and then she wouldn't even miss it. Of course, It's that, like... Hey, have you seen that one sock or that one thing? And it's like, oh, crap.
Yep, that's exactly how it is here. And I'm not a hoarder, but I don't want to, like a little piece of plastic, keeping this must be to something.
Right, I better keep it.
Right, and I don't know what it could be, but...
I digress.
Okay, yes.
Just in case there's that single guy out there that's like, who cares?
He'll find out if he ever has...
There you go.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So yeah, what's next on tap? What you got?
What about hacks for the tools you use and maintaining them? Are there any or?
I would say to actually put a coating. So like on your buffers and vacuums and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
I would say to coat them. So coatings are like a huge deal in the detailing industry, and everyone's excited about installing coatings on customers' cars and stuff like that. But it's like, well, why not coat your own tools so that they clean up easier? Or, and I don't know about like coating your vacuum. I don't know how important that is, but it's a way to, if we're so confident in that a coating can keep a car cleaner longer, prevent it from scratching easier, all those things, why not coat your buffer? To make it so it doesn't, so you can, clean it off real quick if you need to, if you have compound spray or anything on it, or, you could coat your vacuum. I haven't, but you could. It might be a good idea to actually coat the inside of your vacuum to make it easier to like clean out.
Okay, that's interesting. I wanted to do an article on vacuum maintenance, and 2 industry veterans said don't do it because detailers don't maintain their vacuums. They just buy new ones. Is that true?
Well, I didn't change the filter on my rigid vacuum one time to the point to where it blew up the engine.
Okay. That's
so
you learned the hard way.
Yeah, but again, the vacuum lasted me like, 5 years. And so I was like, yeah, I could go get a new filter, but
That's so they were right.
Yeah, they'd be right. I mean, it's kind of a, I don't know if I'd waste my time on that article.
Okay, scratch that. Okay. All right, so other hacks. So we did tools and actual detailing services. What else? Time-saving hacks. Money hacks.
Let's see. Time-saving hacks. Everyone's afraid of wheel acid, hydrofluoric acid. It's a little nasty to work with, but on real nasty rims, hydrofluoric acid, just nothing comes close to cleaning wheels fast and efficiently. I see a lot of guys using these products that make the wheels bleed and all this cool, ready for picture stuff. But honestly, if you want to get down and dirty and get a really nasty rim clean really quickly, acid. And water spots on windows.
Oh.
And now this is very controversial. Water spots on paint can be taken off with acid.
You're saying HF? Hydrofluoric acid?
Hydrofluoric, yep. Hydrofluoric
the kind
acid.
that will eat through your fingertips?
Well, see, when we get yes and no.
Okay.
so
yes and no.
Well, because I say hydrofluoric kind of loosely, because usually in the ready-to-use bottle that you're getting the acid in, it's hydrofluoric mixed with some other acids to make it less detrimental to your health.
Okay.
So, in its purest state, like I get it from a local distributor by me, and his acid is like super gnarly. Like I cut it 50-50 with water, and it's like intense. So I couldn't even imagine it like straight. And he was telling me like they got to wear special suits when they wear it. So if you are using acid, like wear gloves, maybe a respirator, probably some glasses.
Okay.
If you stuck your finger in it, your finger's not going to fall off because maybe at the purest state, but and it can ruin or stain, not necessarily ruin, but it can stain aluminum rims. So you want to be careful with that. But I mean, hands down, it's kind of like the difference between rotary polishing and dual action polishing. Like if you know how to use a rotary, you can get some seriously good results in a fraction of the time. Like I look at acid in the same light of like, if you know how to use it and you're not an idiot, you can like do some seriously good work in a short amount of time.
Okay.
But if you're careless with it, you can do some serious damage in a really short amount of time.
Yes, I saw the videos. What do you do with runoff with that when you're using that kind of acid? Do you have to be...
What runoff? I don't have any
there's
runoff.
Runoff because you don't want to waste a drop? I don't know.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be good if it went down the drain. But,
okay.
You know.
Well, who's the governor of your state now?
Jerry Brown.
Oh, Jerry Brown. He better not be listening to this.
Yeah, hopefully not. Definitely not Jerry Brown. You know what? If Jerry Brown is listening to this podcast, we have some serious issues.
Jerry, you're doing a great job. Jerry, thank you. Do you think that helped?
Maybe.
Good. Okay.
I don't know. I don't really care for him.
Okay, so I think we have about 5 hacks. What about, did you have any marketing ones or anything you do?
Yes, marketing hacks. Google AdWords. Now, everyone's scared of paying to play, and not everyone, I shouldn't say that, but most guys like this term of, I'm word of mouth only. And it's like, hey, that's great, but it's really dependent on your customers telling their friends, and I don't like that. Like, yeah. I don't have any control over my clients telling their friends about how awesome their detailer is, because in reality, it's like, you're just the detailer. Like, people have lives, and they're probably not talking about you. So, maybe they are. Maybe you're that good, and that does happen, but I don't want to rely on that.
Right.
So I use Google AdWords to pay to play. So I come up first for a set amount of keywords, and that brings me 5 to 10 new leads every week. And so that's something that I can control, based on how much I want to spend. And so I have a course on that that I teach other detailers how to do that, but you don't have to buy that to run Google Ads. But that at least keeps a really steady stream of new clients coming in. Now, whether I land those leads or not is dependent upon me.
Right.
But at least I'm not relying on my customers telling other customers, because that word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing, but it's also the slowest, and it takes a long time, And so,
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's our cover story for the July issue. It's 100 other ways to market your business, and that's listed Google AdWords.
Boom.
So thank you.
You got it.
Stuff like it goes from goofy to serious to expensive to free.
Yeah. Here's
So
another
that's-
hack for that.
Okay.
It would be follow up. Follow up with your old customers.
Oh, sure. Yep, phone call or postcard or
Anything. Email, text, phone call, postcard. Just reach out and touch them. Anything.
door-to-door visit.
Door-to-door visit in the neighborhood. Doing your neighbor's
In the
car. How
neighborhood.
you been?
Yeah, okay.
Anything. That's an automatic way to get some serious cash flow going if you're hurting. It's just,
Right.
pick from your database.
Okay. And what about, are there any kind of office upkeep hacks or managing?
So they're coming on as a sponsor. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, but they're coming on as a sponsor to the show because I've been trying them out for the past 7 or 8 months now. And it's the Better Software Company, has a CRM or a customer relationship management tool, specifically designed for detailers. Now there's a lot of CRMs out there, but they have the only one that I could find that was like really uber specific for detailers. So like they had the correct fields inside the platform, for detailers, and you could totally customize it. So I like them because you could also email out customers for appointment reminders, follow-ups you could use through there, final invoices you can use through that. So that's kind of a back end. I use that in conjunction with QuickBooks and Square, and then I have all three talking to each other.
And that's a hack because
Yeah.
you can do it all in one program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I use Square for credit card processing, QuickBooks for accounting, and the Better Software Company for like a CRM.
Okay. And QuickBooks is still good. I was using that in the 90s.
Yeah, and it's cheap. It's like $12 a month. QuickBooks Online.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's another hack. Have your business debit card linked to your QuickBooks account, and then you can, like, every time you go to get gas or a meal or whatever, that's a business expense, use your business debit card, and since you have it linked to your QuickBooks account, it'll automatically categorize that expense.
Wow. Okay.
Boom.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay.
Because then you're not double inputting and spend a bunch of time.
Right.
And you can integrate your Square to your QuickBooks as well, so that every time someone pays you with a credit card through Square, it'll automatically go into your income in your QuickBooks.
Wow. Okay. Any other apps you use on your smartphone for your business?
Google Calendars. And I really am like on the fence about trying to hack that a little bit, scheduling. My only thing with like online scheduling is it comes down to control again. I guess I'm a control freak. Thanks for the therapy session.
You all are. You all are control
But
freaks.
I don't quite get. I'm just not quite comfortable with like having a customer being able to choose what time slot they want. I'm like, yeah, and people are like, yeah, you can block off what times. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes it's Wednesday at 1:00 and I don't want to work for the rest of the day.
Right.
And if someone books a 1:00 at 8:00 that Wednesday morning, when I'm like, whoops, I forgot to block it off, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it works better if you have employees and stuff like that where you're not constantly working in the business. But, I was looking at online calendars and customer scheduling, 7 years ago, and I just can't bite the bullet.
And they can also they can cancel and then don't. I mean, they could do that anyway, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a couple. So the Better Software Company actually has a built-in calendar that I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they would integrate Google Calendars with that, because the Better Software Company doesn't have an app. It's just a platform on like a website, which I've been bugging them to get an app done.
Oh.
And integrate with Google Calendar, but they're working on it. They're really good with working on it.
Okay.
But I like Google Calendar because I was dependent upon like iCalendar, which is the standard calendar for iPhone, but I thought I can't access it from anywhere else.
Right.
So I'm really big on like the cloud and being able to like turn on any computer and have all my stuff, and so that's why I like Google Calendar. Yep.
And you say iPhone is a good hack too?
Yeah. The iPhone Plus, the big one, is what I recently transitioned over instead of carrying like an iPad and my phone.
Yeah.
So I have the bigger screen and I like it.
Okay. All right. So I think we're up to 7 hacks. That's a good number. Or do you want to? You have any?
You tell me. If you want to get to 10, we could get to 10. I think. Oh, there you cut out a little bit. We made it a long time without being cut out.
Oh,
but
that's okay. I didn't get anything on my computer that time.
Okay. So what was your question?
Oh, I think do you have 3 more so we can make it to 10 or?
I could just make 3 things up. Just
that's
kidding.
The quality we look for.
Yeah.
In our
that's the quality that I put out on this podcast. Yeah. Is just made up stuff. Let's see.
What about towel? Do you have any hacks with your towels or?
So towels, it's a funny thing. I use a lot of Costco towels because they're cheap. They're like less than 50 cents a towel. And so at that point, I could care less what happens to that towel. So, but it also kind of spoiled me because I only like fresh, brand new towels. So, I played around a lot with like towels in the like $1.50, $2 range per towel.
Yeah.
And they're honestly, in my opinion, they're no better. So I'm like, well, why am I spending the extra money on this? And I don't waste money on special detergent to wash my microfibers because what I found is it's all about not drying them on dry heat. Not high heat.
Yes.
Yep.
But you throw away a majority of your towels anyway, so that's sorry, Jerry Brown.
I like to get a few wash cycles out of my towels, and then maybe I'll repurpose them for like interior stuff.
Okay.
But I'm really bad at. I throw a lot of towels away.
That's okay. That's a hack. Just throw it away.
Yeah, just throw it away. But then
that's
I'm not
a money saving hack, but.
Yeah, but is it because I don't spend $6 on a towel?
Right.
Like if I had a $6 towel, like I bought a $10 towel one time, and I freaking babied that thing, and then I accidentally dried it too much, and I had to throw it away.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, why am I going to spend $10? That's almost a 36 pack of Costco towels. I'm almost there. I'm more than halfway there. So.
I have Costco's here. We have Sam's Club and.
Sam's Club has them too.
Oh, they do?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So Sam's Club has them too. And if you don't have a Costco or a Sam's Club, you probably have Amazon, and you can buy Costco towels on Amazon.
We have Amazon out here in the East Coast too.
In the East Coast, yeah. Pretty sure they're worldwide. So you can get Costco towels on Amazon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see. What other arena would you like a hack in?
I thought I saw a podcast you did on. I think the word hack was in the actual
probably
title, but what I thought it was on. I can't remember. My mind is gone. But
let's see.
It wasn't door jams, was it? No,
not door jams. Door jams. A hack for door jams that you could use is if they're real nasty and you're using water. I will pre-soak all the door jambs with like an all-purpose cleaner or degreaser before I rinse the car.
Oh.
And then that really helps to loosen up all the dirt during the wash process, especially if you're using a pressure washer. Like pre-soak all the door jambs really good with all-purpose cleaner, and then as you're pressure washing the car, like really focus on the seams. Obviously, don't have the doors open, have the doors shut, but like just rotate your tip of the pressure washer so it'll fit between the crack, and then kind of just pressure wash in there, and that gets a lot of the dirt out. Look at that. Okay. We're coming up with hacks, just making stuff up.
On the fly.
Yeah, I've actually done that, so I didn't make that up. One more. We can get there.
We might be past 10. I wasn't counting with numbers. I was using my hands.
Okay.
And I went to write, and so we might be up to 10, but we all...
Let's get one more. I feel like that'll be good.
Okay.
One more. Let's see here.
We did...
how about interior? So this is an easy one. Interiors.
Yes. We didn't need... Okay.
Interiors. So interiors are can take a lot more of a beating than people think. So like stiff bristle brushes are really good, and that's not my hack. That's just a freebie. Like don't be afraid to go to town, on some stuff. But one thing that I like that I actually talked about with Scott Perkin, who's up in Canada, was he pressure washes floor mats.
Ah, okay.
And I used to do that, but I thought I was a hardcore hack by doing that. So I always felt bad for pressure washing people's floor mats, because I'm like,
why'd you feel bad? Because
I just felt like it wasn't a professional thing to do.
Oh,
and it makes the mats. It does make the mats really, really wet. But if you have a really, really, really dirty mat, it's like phenomenal to pressure wash. So, yeah.
That's nice that you felt bad, but I thought, okay.
So yeah, that's what I would be pressure washing mats all day long.
Okay. Interior. I can't believe we missed interior.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
Yeah, and have a steamer. So we'll make it 11. A steamer makes all the difference in the world. A steamer's huge. I don't even use my extractor anymore. It's always steam.
Yeah, we had a good article in our first issue on using steam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not embraced as much as
it should be. Steam's huge. Total game changer. I could do a whole episode just on steam hacks.
Well, germs, people are the way it kills germs seems to be working with mothers and.
Oh yeah, it's huge, and it doesn't get stuff as wet. You can get in the mold, not the moldings, but the plastic rubbery door seals. Those with steam, you just blow all the junk out of there. Steam's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of using it too.
Yeah, and you don't have to, for the detailer health, I guess, if you're using acid, I like to counterbalance that with using just nothing but water.
If you use vinegar for anything, because that seems to be...
Yeah, or that.
Okay, sure.
So if people want to connect to the magazine or get this magazine, how could they do that?
They can go to autodetailingnews.com, and there's a link there to sign up. They can write the publisher directly at Jackson, JACKSONV at autodetailingnews.com, and that might be. Oh, they could write me, but I'll just pass it on to Jackson. But I'm at DEBRAG at autodetailingnews.com.
Cool. And I'll have all that linked up in the show notes as well for people that are interested. Okay. And then is there any parting words of advice, any calls to action that you'd want to add before we take off?
I want everyone listening to this to know I really appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, for sure. This has been great.
And I want everyone to know that this publication is for you. If there's any kind of article you want, I will do the research. I got a request with the first one. People wanted to know about Yelp and what to do about Yelp. I got a bad review on Yelp. So I contacted Yelp and got the interview done, and it was all for the readers. So no article goes in there with advertisers in mind. We're not catering to them. We're catering to... This is a little serious. Was I supposed to be funny in my parting?
Either. We can go serious or funny.
Okay.
Whatever you're feeling.
Yeah. This is a passion of ours too.
And that comes through. It really does.
I hope so. I really want this to do well. I hope to go to the next, a Mobile Tech Expo, definitely. But hopefully I'll get to meet some of you along the way who are listening. And I'm really glad I could be here.
Thank you for coming on. No, I really appreciate it.
Yep. Have me on anytime you want.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you could purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.